Hey everybody, what's going on? What's going on? Drop in the chat where you are located. Let me make sure my sound is up. What is going on? Everybody, today, super excited to be with Ramin.
What's up, guys?
Krista, AJ, can you guys hear us okay? I just want to make sure everyone can hear us okay. Awesome. Welcome to the DealMachine webinar tonight, guys. Super excited. Ramin's here with us from Atlanta. This is our first in-person webinar, so we're really excited to do this. Throughout the webinar, actually, I want to introduce some other people that are on here with us as well. We got AJ down there, wave AJ, got head of our customer service. We have Krista here, who is our beautiful customer success manager for all of our elite members. And she is filling in today for Dakota. She will be bringing people up to ask questions. So please drop your questions for Ramin in the chat. If you haven't joined us on one of our webinars before, first 15 minutes, we're gonna have Ramin tell us about his journey with real estate investing. And then we're gonna open it up to bring you guys on to ask Ramin questions live here now. This is being recorded. It will be on our YouTube channel later, but take advantage of this, guys. If you haven't seen it, Ramin has done numerous deals with us. And so Ramin, tell us how you got into real estate investing.
Sure. So it started with a bug, honestly, right? I met an old friend of mine, Zana Holeri, at a conference with Tony Robin, not Robinson. I messed that up a couple times. The other one, the 10X guy, Grant Cardone, yep. Uncle, whatever they call him. And I don't know, I saw his back of his head and I was like, I know that dude. I took my phone out and I was like, starts with a Z, I think. I hope he's not watching right now, maybe later. I was like, Z, and then I texted him and he's like, yeah, I am here. And then I came and sat down with those guys, and he was, he's been doing real estate for a couple of years. I think he went through a program. He's been doing deals. So I met him that day. I was like, and he was telling me about wholesaling and real estate flipping houses. And I'm like, nah, you're not making more money on one deal than my entire salary. You're not telling, it's not real.
Tell the good people what you were doing.
I was working for technically the electric company as a mechanical and aerospace engineer. Well, my degree is that, but I was working as the actual technical implementation engineer. So all the meters for your electricity at home, we were building out that system. The meter for electricity, for water, for gas, we built that entire infrastructure throughout the country. And my base was St. Louis in Pennsylvania. I was there for a couple of, a couple weeks, maybe a month, 2 months in Pennsylvania, but the majority of it was in St. Louis. So I was traveling all over the country, and sometimes I would see the guy on the weekends. I'm like, I'm not here on the weekdays. What are you doing on the weekends? Let's hang out. Let's have a drink. Let's kick it. And I was around him, and he was taking me to projects, and I'm like, okay, he's renovating this house. Oh my God, this is a big deal. He's saying these things like it's an easy task to do. Like, right. You got an electrician coming in here who has license, and then plumbers, and then sheetrock, whatever. The studs up. Most of the houses he loves doing like full guts, and he's the guy with the image where he comes in and he's like, this is gonna happen, that's gonna happen, the kitchen's gonna go here. I'm like, how are you seeing the kitchen going there, right? Where in your mind you're just putting puzzles together, and that's what he was doing. And then finally, I was, the whole quarantine happened, and then the quarantine happened, and I'm at home not doing anything, right? So I'm thinking about real estate, and I got a call. I don't remember. I think I might have called him, what's going on, and he let me know that he was doing a program where, he was teaching a couple of his buddies. Everybody's been bugging him so much that I'll teach you guys. All right, you guys stop bugging me. Leave me alone. It's fine. I'll do it. Whatever. And he taught us. It was a couple of us in the beginning. It was 4 of us, and then more people joined as it progressed. And so that was in May, and then August 14th happened. the knock on the door, Zoom call. I think it was from Microsoft, whatever it's called. And then it's me, the director, and the HR. And I'm like, I see me and the director talking. I don't remember us having a meeting or anything, but what is the HR lady doing here?
Yeah.
That's not a good sign.
Right.
Immediately, I was like, okay. And then they said, Ramin, you're fired. Well, that's how I took it. They said, Ramin, you're not let go. Your position's terminated.
And you're like, okay then.
My position is terminated. Your last day is August 28th. And I was like, okay. I mean, what else do you say to that, right? I'm like, holy shoot. For some reason, my little brother, for that was he's like smart, super smart. And for some reason, he said, I had a feeling. So I was in my, I was in the downstairs basement, and I was working out of the big, nice desk, and my door was closed, and he was sitting right outside, and he said, I had a feeling. And he's waiting outside as soon as that Zoom call finished.
Holy cow.
Saying, so what happened? I was like, how did you know what happened immediately like that too? And it's kind of scary too. And then all that happened. Of course, I was too ashamed, too embarrassed, if you might call it, to tell. I just got kicked, or might be called kicked out, fired, let go, terminated, whatever you might call it.
Yeah.
From a position that I went to all this schooling, all this engineering things, and so I felt embarrassed, of course. And then I was like, I said I quit, but I didn't, of course. I was let go. Then, of course, if you're going to do anything, you should be honest with yourself more than anything else. Everybody else's opinion is theirs. If you're not honest to yourself, you're lying to yourself. And
right.
At night, you're lying to yourself, right? And so I was like, all right, I said it. I'm going to do this real estate thing. I called Zon. I was like, wherever you're going, bro, I'm coming with you. So he got a airport. In the airport in DeKalb County, there's offices and stuff like that. It's a private airport. And I was like, all right, join. Let's go. I'm doing this every day. I got up at whatever, 6 o'clock every day, went into it. I'm like, I'm going to put all my everything into it. I burned all bridges. I don't want to go back. I could have started looking for another engineering job or something, but I was like, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to try this real estate thing and see if I can figure it out. And then if he's making my salary on a check, let me at least see what's going on. If I make one, I'm good. Yeah. One, and I'm good, and two, then I'm like, I'm me and plus this guy here. So I started doing it with cold calling originally. Not knowing much about the business, especially in real estate, there's so much you can do. And I was like, well, I'm going to pick up the phone. Pick up the phone and call. And just call. In the beginning, it was using Google Voice.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so before there's the softwares, the Mojos and all the other cool softwares, I was there's 7, when you skip trace a property, there's 7 numbers, right? I was calling each one of them, copying and pasting them on Google Voice in the beginning, right? Because it's not cost efficient if you're going to pay a couple $100 on a software each month. So, and you got to gradually get there. And I started doing that. The next thing I did the one-line dialer, whatever it's called, and just call nonstop for 10 hours a day sometimes. It's so like I'm calling all these people and I'm not getting nothing, right?
Right.
Texting them, nothing. Calling them, nothing. For a while, and then finally I got my first deal off of Briarcliff. It's North Drew Hills and Briarcliff, and for some reason we figured out later it's in Brookhaven. Brookhaven bought whatever the parcel it is, and it's part of Brookhaven, and Brookhaven's like $1 million houses.
Oh, wow.
And behind it, I didn't even see the backside. It was million, 1.2, $1.5 million houses. The backside, you got to really go back there for you to check out those. So we got this house, and wholesaling it was too high of a price. It was $370,000, hard money, 10% and 3 points. And it was going to be much higher, but Zana came on with the project on me, thank God, right? It would have been, I think the guy said it would have been like 14 and a half and 4 points or something if his experience wasn't on the actual.
So partner up, people.
Always partner up. And I never did a wholesale before. So my first house was a flip. And thank God Zana was a part of that because he knew what he was doing. And there's no, he knew how to do this completely.
Right.
And whatever books I might have read, I could have watched a million YouTube videos from every contractor, everything. There's a difference between trial and error and somebody who's done it, has been doing it and still doing it, and making money consistently, compared to me as the new guy, didn't do any deals, right?
Right.
And so that was the first one ever. And I don't remember if it was in November or December. I think in November we closed that Briarcliff house to start renovating it. I think in the end of November, a friend of ours, one of the guys that started that group together, he was using DealMachine. So in his success, he's done like 4 deals before anybody else. And I'm like, I'm not a rocket scientist. Why am I? Let me just copy the guy, The
one who's having success.
Yeah, the guy who's making success using the software. Why don't I just check it out too, right?
Right.
And he was showing me George, OG Homes. Always go support George. I love George. And Zana Hilaria, of course, before I forget. And he was showing me how DealMachine works. And he said, you just get in your car, you can literally filter the absentee owners and over 10 years. And as you're driving, you can, okay, this house looks like it needs a lot of work.
Right.
All right. The house next to it looks like it's been there's no problems. Don't put it on your list, right? Then the next one, and that's where my first luck came in. I finally got some traction, the first luck ever, and on the first 7 days, and I still haven't bought DealMachine yet. So it was on the 7 days, and I pulled the list, I script traced it, I texted it, I think I cold called it, the whole list. In the text message, I got a response. He said, "Yeah, I'll sell." And we set up. Me and Zana went to that house on a Saturday morning, at like 10 o'clock or something. And I don't know why I was out till like 2 o'clock the night before, but I was up at, I don't know, 6, 7 o'clock ready. I'm like, let's go.
Let's go see this house.
Let's go see this house. We saw the house. It was off of, I'm not going to name streets, not important. And then we got it under contract by that Sunday. And the RV was there after renovations and everything. And I made that first $50,000. And mind you, I still haven't got DealMachine yet. So I still haven't got DealMachine yet. And then I was like, man, I made this 50 G's. I think, well, before it closed out, I had that American Express. Remember when I told you, American Express is the worst with 8 points, 9 points. Their percentage interest is terrible. But again, they'll give you 10, 15, 20 grand, right? And when you need it, you need it. So screw it, put it on the American Express. The Platinum card. Even though I can't afford this Platinum card. And we got it, we got the DealMachine, and then I was just driving for dollar, closed it out. And the next property was a house that actually I got onto my DealMachine app by accident. Oh. So the house next to it looked like it needed work. Not the house before, but my finger slipped and I was too lazy to take it off, right? Because I'm always the one that just like taps, and it's ads. I'm not gonna go individually tap them. It's just too much work for me. And then I just didn't think about it. I was like, it's gonna cost me 12 cents. It is what it is. Pulled the list. The guy who was looking to sell that house, we got it under contract. One of my investor friends, he was like, "Look, I'm looking for a house, man, for myself. It's in Brookhaven as well." Like going back to that Brookhaven thing.
Oh my gosh.
And the house doesn't need work. It's maybe a little here and there, but it's not like a gut job or anything. It's a good-looking house, great area, basement, perfect 3-2. And they bought it for themselves with the, I don't know, FHA or conventional, without using agents. I know we did use Carol take care of all that. And the guy, the seller of that house, I was telling him, I'm gonna take care of you, and I think the mother-in-law live in there.
Oh.
So we helped the mother-in-law move all her stuff.
Oh, that's nice.
And then I was checking up on with him. It's like, did she get where he was over there? He's like, yeah, she really appreciated what you guys did. And I was like, of course, I told you I'll take care of you. I'll take care of you. And then I was telling the guy, oh, I'm sorry, I missed this call or something. And I said, I'm sorry, one of my investors called about he wanted to give me money to use so I can give him a return on his investment. So the guy who sold me the house is saying, oh, shoot, man, I have $100,000 in cash. What's your return on your investment? 10%, right? And he's like, I have $100,000. Can you do anything with it? I was like, well, I'll definitely give you a call when I need $100,000, and then I'll give you 10% return on your investment, right? And that was because if you think about it, the guy he probably had houses, whatever it might be, $100,000 sitting in the bank, 10% return on investment. I mean, he's winning.
Right.
He's the actual winner. And so converting the guy who sold me his house to letting me become a private lender in 2 weeks or something like that.
I was going to say, this is still at the beginning of your journey.
Oh yeah, we're not even started yet. And that's when me getting to really like using the DealMachine correctly, getting my lists, my secure lists are different, right? They're gold star lists. And then I got the list engine?
List builder.
List builder. I always forget. I don't know why. The engine thing is always in my head, right?
I know.
I went into, I purchased that software, and then I started pulling lists as well, because you can't do 500 to 1,000 a month. That's not reasonable. You have to do both, where you have to pull a certain amount of lists, and you have to drive for dollar for a certain amount of lists. And from that one, on the free trial, before I even paid for it too, we made $29,000. And that one was...
You heard that right.
I shouldn't have...
The man was on 2 7-day trials and got 2 deals without even paying for the software yet.
Exactly.
Can't get any better than that.
It honestly can't. And so we use that one, and that one really, the floodgates opened. And going back to that drive for dollar, the next one after that was the one where I was expecting to make like $2,500, but I was like, I worked way too hard for this. I call this guy every week, every month. I don't know what it is, for like 7 months, 8 months, maybe even to a year. I don't really remember. But we made almost something more than that, way more than that, like $10,000+. And then it was a couple of, it was that one, that was the biggest one. And when I was driving to see that house, I was using my DealMachine app, and it's never not on me, right?
Right.
And then I'm just going past the streets and I'm doing my thing, right? And then when I was back in my office, I pulled a list, did the whole texting, calling. Not then, but a month later, a portfolio came up of 3 properties. And this was this guy was, I think I've been following up with him on a different property, but he owned this one as well. So I was following up with another property, and then this one came on my radar as well. And that day he was like, yeah, I'll show you the house. Can you meet me at 6 o'clock? I was like, can we do 7? Atlanta's traffic is terrible. I won't get there for like 2 hours, right? And he's like, all right, that's fair. And then I got in the truck at 6, drove all the way down there. He showed me the first house. I thought it was only gonna be one. Then he showed me the other 2 the same day. I was like, done. I'll send you a contract. The next day, the next day I sent him a contract for all 3.
So now, I know you've told me, but could you tell everyone where you're at now with DealWise from being in it for almost a year? The amount of deals we've done?
Yeah. Like 20, 25. And then we have, I don't know, like 10 in the pipeline right now. We're supposed to be closing 5 November 4th, so next Friday. hopefully as soon as the tenants move out, really. And then we have scattered November, all over the place. One house we're actually closing on January 2nd. So next year we're gonna.
You're already starting it off high. You already closed one deal right when 2022 hits.
2022 hits. We're gonna start with a bang. The lady was like, I want to reduce my taxes. I don't want to sell right now, so let me sell then. And then we're under contract to sell then, so it's all good for us. Yeah, it's 100%. It's in the pipeline, under contract. It's closing on January 2nd. It's a done deal. Well, you never know. Taking to the end games.
I love it.
It's a different story.
I want to start getting people up here. Krista, do we got some good questions coming in?
Okay, so I'm going to bring up our friend Ricardo. I saw ask a really good question a little while ago. Let me scroll down and find his name real quick, unless he's gone.
Ask your questions in chat. Krista will bring you up.
Well, Ricardo seems to have not be in the chat anymore, but he asked a great question of what your toughest deal was to date.
I don't think, I mean, majority of the deals are, getting them on the contracts one thing and then getting into the end game. But again, the best deals are the toughest ones. Oof, oof, oof. The one, maybe the one that we did 8-9 months of follow-up, but again, I mean, there's no, under pressure, I work the best under pressure, so that's the portfolio. Those were like crazy ones, but maybe that one might have been like 8 months follow-up game to get a property closed.
How often, like in that time, like were you following up every single week or like every month? Like
in the beginning, I was following up like every week, second week,
okay.
And then it just gradually becomes like 3 weeks and then a month and then 2 months. Well, not 2 months, maybe every month or so after like the fifth or sixth one. But then sending text messages out, still out.
Follow-up is so important, people.
We're not in the real estate business. We're in the follow-up game. Like, there's so many people that have houses, man. Ask anybody, right? Why would they sell to you? Did you follow up? Did you ask them, are they looking to sell now? What if a tenant moves out and the mortgage is due and they don't want to pay out of pocket?
That's true.
And it's that time of month, right?
They weren't motivated 7 months ago, but they may be motivated 7 months later. Like, all right, Krista, who we got next?
All right. Next up, I'm going to bring up Giovanni McKay, who just put a really great question in the chat. So, Giovanni, feel free to unmute if you'd like to ask your question.
And feel free to turn on your camera if you would like. Hi.
Hey, I was asking Ramin, based on your experiences thus far, have you developed any strategy to to thus far that you've seen based on what you've been experiencing thus far?
A strategy?
Yeah, have you come up with any strategy thus far?
Yes. The number one thing I think is just being yourself more than anything else, especially with sellers. The most important thing, I use the DealMachine app for my business, of course, right? The drive for dollar, the list pull, what is it?
List builder.
List builder. God damn, I'll never get this. List builder. It's a combination of both. And then the most important thing is it's a numbers game. At the end of the day, it is a numbers game. You have to pull, a certain amount just to keep quota, because I'm in Atlanta. So in Atlanta, it's not, I don't know, whatever kind of formula somebody from Texas or Arizona, whatever they are, their numbers are completely different. It's not the same in Atlanta, or it's not even the same in the same neighborhoods. So we have to have, as much in your pipeline, meaning pulling lists, skip tracing them, texting them, and then calling them, right? Or whatever way you might want to do it, but always keeping on as much as you can on your pipeline. That is both actually driving out there, having drivers, or you driving yourself, and pulling the list as well. Both of them hand to hand, remembering that it's number game, and at the end of the day, It's how much are you out there? How many times have you followed with somebody, and being yourself. The strategy is, if you're going to be counterfeit, you go to the store, people can detect a counterfeit with a pen, right? Anybody can, if they're sharp or older from that generation, they're going to call you out on your BS all day. That's the truth, right? Being yourself, and the scripts, anything that you do strategize-wise, is make it your own. Like, don't be a robot. Like, that's the most important thing. You being you is probably the best thing that can happen. And again, you're providing a service at the end of the day, right? You're buying a house that somebody wants to sell, and what you do with it is your business. But again, you're giving that service, so you don't need to be anybody else except you. I think that's the best strategy for me.
Okay, that's pretty dope. Thank you for that, Ramin.
Thank you,
Giovanni. Where are you located?
I am currently in Kansas.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
You might be our first one that I've heard from, like, actually, like, Kansas. Everyone's either in Kansas City, Missouri, not actually Kansas. So let us know if there's any other things that we can help you out with. I appreciate you being here.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you for your response.
Krista, who we got?
All right, next up, Candace, looks like her question got answered. I think I'm going to bring up Brian Jackson next.
Brian Jackson.
Come on down. Wow, look at that crazy picture. I love it. Very colorful.
Hi.
Hi.
What's going on, Brian?
Hey, good. So I'm new to the whole skip tracing or the whole wholesaling deal. And it's just like, I have the list. I start to get really anxious when I get ready to call people. I was just wondering how you deal with that. Like, once I get into it, I'm fine. It's just kind of like, okay, how do I get started with calling them,
Like a mental pump up.
Yeah, essentially.
Put some Eminem, man. Like, what is that song? I'm ready with the spaghetti, whatever it's called.
I'm now gonna have to make that the intro song to this.
The one thing that I did when I started, and again, I used to, like, the gorilla, making yourself big, not sitting down when you're calling, walking around if you have to. Like, I used to hit myself in the chest and just, like, pumping myself, like going to, like, a fight kind of ordeal, right? It is an anxiety. It's kind of some of the other people's examples this one might be crazier than other people, but I mean, just make yourself big as you think possible, and walking around, and then just like, do you want that money? You know what I mean? It's, at the end of the day, if you don't talk to people,
Right.
you hear anything? Nothing, right? It's not going to happen. So you got to believe it, that you're doing, number one, you have to believe in what you're doing, because if you don't, then it's not really, the anxiety is always going to be there. What if I say something wrong? What if I do this and that? And at the end of the day, why does it matter if you say something wrong, right? Why does it matter? It's never a deal until it's somebody's actually looking to sell. If somebody's just messing with you, it's not really a deal, right? Picking up that phone is the number one, and I know the anxiety. I was there, man. I promise you, I was there. I was hitting my chest during my lunch breaks when I was in corporate. Bro, I'm not joking about that. My parents would be like, yo, what the heck is going up in Ramin's room? Why is he hitting, like, what's the noise coming out of there, right? But that's what I had to do. If you have to put Eminem, put some Slim Shady, man. You got to do what you got to do. But don't be, that's the number one way, is picking up the phone. There's no way getting around that. And doing it yourself, you cannot give this to somebody else. You cannot hire out this. You have to be the person that picks up the phone. Don't go get a VA. Don't do none of that. You have to pick up the phone. If you have to get a dialer in the beginning, Google Voice is free. I mean, if you're starting, don't spend too much money. Rule number one, spend as least as you can. And then you can get all the cool gadgets when you're up there pretty soon, right? But Google Voice is free, right? Pick up the phone, man. And if you have to, dude, go do for sale by owner.
Okay.
They're already looking to sell, right? Pick up the phone. Like, what's the worst thing you can say? Look, I'm looking to buy your house. Okay, it's on Zillow or wherever. They're already looking to sell, so you can't screw that up at all, right? So do that if you have to. Just, but understand this one thing is, you just have to do it. There is no going around it. There's no, you can go on the internet. People tell you go get VAs or whatever kind of things, right? Don't. Those people don't last long enough, because if you can't do it yourself, how are you going to teach a VA?
That's true.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Thanks, Brian. Appreciate you. All right.
Cut him off a little early. Sorry, Ryan.
Just so you know, Chris is doing a great job. She's not ever done this with us, and she did it on the fly because Dakota was not feeling well today. So let's give some love to Krista and AJ for doing this. Also, I have another person to introduce you to. This is Sam. I'll sneak in here. This is one of our media specialists, so I'm also grateful for her for being here in our studio space. So, Krista, who we got?
All right. My next person I got up here was more of a money question, like funds. Kevin Rynell. Let me see if I can find you real quick in the chat. Here you are.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes. Hey, Kevin.
What's up, Kevin?
Awesome. Hey, everyone. Hey, thanks, Ramin, for being here too. This is really cool. Yeah, I just had a question more about, like, I guess the mechanics of your deals. So when you're driving for dollars, right, and you find a house you want to make an offer on, who are you using to help show, like, proof of funds? Like, maybe for your first deal, if you don't have like any savings, right, to show proof of funds to be able to close, and you make an offer to a seller, do you have like a money partner, or hard money lender, or private lender you help to work with to show funds to close the deal? And then if you do that, how are you, like, dispositioning after you close the deal? Are you flipping the contract? Just sort of questions like that.
Yeah. So the one thing is with the money, showing proof of funds, there's websites where you can literally show you your proof of funds kind of ordeal, right? That you can go to. It's like, look, I'm looking for a proof of funds, and they'll give you a proof of funds, not a real proof of funds, honestly. But there's those. But again, it's hard money. If you go to any of these hard money guys and ask them, ask for a proof of fund, you can get one of those. And if you can be transparent with the seller as well, say, look, I'm using hard money. This is cash. It's the same thing as my money. It's hard money. We close the same timeline. There's no issue with that. And the second thing with dispo is what you want to do is you want to be friends with the big dispo companies, right? There's all these different dispo companies that you can go and you can, me personally, I'm in the acquisition business, right? I don't need to dispo. I do have buyers that buy for me specifically, but then again, why would I waste my time dispoing a property, right? When I can get more properties under contract, right? Why would I waste, let's say 2 weeks, 3 weeks of to make 5,000 on top of my 5,000, or I can just let the dispo companies dispo it, right? Make my 5,000, let them make whatever 5,000 or whatever it is, and then I can go get more properties, right, with the same timeline, and then I can make another 5, or I can make another 10, whatever it can be. Get more properties under contract, and let them dispo it. In the beginning, like, you cannot do all things by yourself. There's no point of, wasting almost a month. You get it under contract and the time starts. You have a month, right? Now you have to go and find a buyer, right? No. Go to a dispo company, let them find the buyer. That's a month that you can call more people, right? You can get more properties under contract. Greed is you can't be greedy. If 50% is better than 0%, when I was telling you that earlier, that's the best way in the beginning. In the beginning, you don't need to do everything, right? Yeah. If you're not an expert in real estate, you can't be going flipping, burring. What is the other one? Short-term rentals.
Short-term rentals.
Wholesaling. What else is there?
There's so many things.
Rehabbing, right?
Rehabbing.
But then breaking that into each one of them. So wholesaling is more than just, selling a contract. It's acquisitions and dispositions, right? And that's two parts to wholesaling. And acquisitions, dispositions is 50-50 until you have buyers. Then it becomes 100%. But until then, you can't think about dispo because you have to bring the value of acquisitions. You got to get the property under contract, right? So you can dispo it. The first part cannot happen. The second part cannot happen if the first part doesn't happen, right? Getting the property under contract and then going to these big dispo companies. You guys, I'm not going to name any names, but there's so many of them. You just Google it. I think you can probably find, or even in the chat, I bet you everybody put in a dispo company in your city or whatever you might call it, and let them dispo.
I think in our local real estate investor groups have a bunch of them that if you just literally say something about it, they'll have comments out of the wazoo with.
There we go. Go on Facebook and do that. And it's better to just let somebody else handle it because, in the beginning, especially why would you waste a month? It usually takes 2 weeks or 3 weeks. If you have due diligence, 2 weeks, closing in a month, or due diligence is 7 days and you close in 10, 12, 15 days. Yeah. You got to find a buyer. Or you can just give to the guy who already has buyers until you get to a position where you'll find your own buyers. But till then, you need to acquisitions, let somebody else dispo. And then later down the line, when you have your buyers, you go to enough meetings, you get on enough Facebook
groups.
Facebook groups, the comments or whatever, you make buddies. Then you go straight to the end buyer or whatever it might be. In the beginning, use hard money. Even tell the seller, I'm using hard money, and ask a hard money lender to send you proof of funds or whatever it might be, and say I'm using hard money. It's the same thing as cash, but we don't keep cash because we need to. We do so much projects, whatever you come up with, really.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, thanks, Ramin. I appreciate it. Good feedback.
Where are you at, Kevin?
I'm in San Diego.
Oh man.
I moved recently. I was from NorCal, but I just moved here a couple months ago. So
don't let anybody tell you there's no deals anywhere. If you trust me, even in San Diego, and I don't know nothing about California, but I bet you there's deals out there too, man.
They're out there. I'm gonna find them. Yep.
All right. Good luck, brother.
Thanks.
Awesome. I think next up, I'm going to do Tiffany Lomax asking some questions about another cold calling question.
Hey, Tiffany.
Hey, how are you guys doing?
Pretty good.
Good.
What's going on with you?
Good. So my question is, how many calls do you make daily, or how many hours do you dial? What's your daily goal?
Oh man, in the beginning, or now? Now it's a different. Of course, it's going to be much more warm leads that come to me. But in the beginning, I was doing 8 to 10, 12, maybe 15 hours sometimes if I get up early enough. If you do it from 10 till 6, some people, if you go on YouTube or go on Reddit trends, right? People get off at 5 to 7 is 8, 9, right? That's a good time where you can get people, right? But COVID happened, so everybody was home. So I was calling from 10 till 6, 7, 8 o'clock at night, sometimes on the dialer. And you have to, in the beginning, and maybe not that extreme, right? Everybody's in different markets. Everybody has different goals, right? I wanted to become an expert in buying houses. How do I convert? How do I do that? And the cold call, it goes back to the original, the OG of OGs. You got to get on the phone and you got to cold call. And you got to do it, not your VA or not mom and dad, not your partner. If you have a partner as well, not your partner. No, you have to get on that phone and you got to pick up the phone. If it's lunch breaks between, what time lunch breaks? 11?
Noon to 1 is what ours is.
Noon to 1, right? Or is it from 11 to 12? Whatever it is, if it has to be an hour, but putting in at least an hour a day, or even after work from 5 till 7 to 8. That's when the time people are leaving work too, right? So getting on the phone, there's no amount I mean, from here to the moon, honestly, right? But at least an hour if you have to. In the beginning, you have to call as much more times you're on the phone, the better your skills get, the better you get on your feet. And like, okay, what if this, what if that? Oh shoot, right? You'll have to figure it out, right? Under pressure, you have to make something happen, right? So there is no such thing as like a small amount of limit. An hour, if you can, a day would be pretty good. But I would, if you're doing real estate full time, I mean, I was doing it.
That's a lot. I asked him that question earlier, Tiffany, and he said 8 hours, and I was like, good Lord. That is a long time to hear a lot of no's. And where are you located, Tiffany?
I'm in Mississippi, like Jackson, Mississippi area.
Okay. So your market may not be as competitive as Ramin's. Ramin's in Atlanta, and I would say for people like that, he would have to add probably twice as many leads as where you're at. And so, but it is just like a numbers game where the more there's never I love that you said that. There's never a low amount. It's like you just keep calling all of them and you will get a yes.
Okay.
A minimum of an hour a day. That would be like an apple a day keeps the doctor away.
An hour a day?
An hour a day maybe gets you a deal. I got to come up with a phrase somewhere there.
Well, thank you.
Thanks, Tiffany.
Thank you for the question.
All right, we're gonna do, Krista, one more for the night. If you didn't answer your questions, please, we have Ramin connected on Instagram. Is it okay if people DM you?
Yeah, I mean, that's fine. Somebody last time found my phone number and called me, so.
Holy cow. Well, if you're really
That's
diligent.
skip tracing for you. Skip trace Ramin.
And I helped them. I was like, if you're going to go through all these hoops, and that's the one thing I don't like when somebody's, especially with these, the new guru kind of ordeal, if somebody's willing to put in the work, like you were telling about Samantha, right?
Yeah.
If somebody's willing to put in the work, 5, 10, 15 minutes is not that much time. But if somebody jumps through all these hoops to just get to me, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, I'm willing to give that time because somebody went out of the way. Same thing I do. I call these people. I go through all these hoops to find this owner, and then I'll find them, and then I'll text them, I'll call them, I'll get them on the phone one way or another. Maybe they might not want to sell today, or tomorrow, or a month, or maybe next year, or January 2nd. I don't know. But if I went through all that, I have no issue with talking to somebody in 5, 10 minutes, 15, 20 minutes. And that's the number one thing is if you want to talk to these, awesome gurus or even following up with people, you follow up. Why would I give you my time if I'm following up with you?
Yeah.
If you need something from me or from a seller point of view, if Samantha's selling her house, I'm calling Samantha. Samantha is not calling Ramin. Maybe at the end, if I call her so many times that she's like, yo, Ramin forgot to call me this week. What's going on with Ramin, right? That might be the only way. But other than that, it has to be, that's the only way. There's so many other people that they can sell to nowadays. We're not in the old market where it's not, what they call it, nobody can buy houses. Now everybody wants, it's the number one asset. Everyone wants to get onto it. Some people are buying houses that don't make any sense. The numbers don't make any sense. Buying them as burrs, and what's the other thing? The short rentals,
Short rentals, Airbnbs.
The numbers don't make sense. These people are willing to pay for it.
Yeah.
That's not a business, by the way, for everyone. That's not real estate. Airbnb and burrs, yes.
Burrs, yes.
Airbnb and short rentals are not. It's not a real estate business. It's not real estate. It's like the Marriott, but not as regulated. It will get regulated eventually.
Okay, Krista, one more.
All right, Tim Perry is gonna be our last one of the night.
And again, everyone, if you have questions we didn't answer, please feel free to reach out to Ramin or us, and we can. I want to make sure your questions are answered. Hi, Tim.
Hey, how are you guys doing? Listen, I gotta say this before I ask my question because I've been doing real estate for over 30 years. And when I started real estate, I was riding around. I don't know if any of you guys know this, but I was riding around with the map book where you section off section A to section G to find a place and find a property. Now with the DealMachine and all the other new platforms that you guys have created, it's amazing. So it really excites me when I hear the new ways of doing real estate. I mean, you guys are innovative and you really turned this whole thing around versus what we used to have to do back in the day. I'm an old investor, but I'm new to these new platforms and the DealMachine things and the prop streams and all these new things on the computer. So it wows me when I see a lot of you do that. But my question is, what success have you had? What have you had the most success out of? Is it the mailers, texting, or is the cold calling? I know follow-up is always going to be huge, but when you're sending out your advertisement and your marketing to the potential seller, what is the most success that you've had? Which avenue gives you the most success in this platform? Because I mean, like I said, this is all new to me, and I've been doing this for a long time, and I'm trying to figure out, which one is the avenue really that gives everyone the most success.
For me, it's been texting. Texting has been the number one form of reaching out, actually marketing. Cold calling is one thing, but cold texting somebody, right? Like, hey, are you looking to sell your house? And then following up with that exact same thing again and again. I think in the beginning, it might be most profitable, because if you don't have the money and you're working on American Express at 8%, they're making their cut all day, right? You want to do the one thing that's the least amount of cost, and texting is the least cost. The cold calling is, in the beginning, you have to cold call for you to just get to a certain level of understanding, and if somebody asks you a question, how do you answer it, and how you become super fluid, right? When somebody asks you anything about real estate, you're a real estate expert because you've went through thousands of questions or hundreds of questions. Maybe my example is a little extreme, but
a lot of objections you've had.
Yeah, every objection there is, you've been through it, and you've heard it. You play with it. There's like boxers, they're smacking you, but you know how to dodge, right? That's the cold calling, but texting in the beginning is more important than anything else. And then the mailers, I think you guys do mailers, right? Mm-hmm. The mailers is you graduate to mailers. I've done success in texting, right, to a certain degree, and then I have to look, how do I increase my business? Is it mailers? Is it I don't do online marketing, Facebook marketing.
Yeah.
Ads
and everything.
All that is like not me whatsoever. I got to probably hire somebody to do all that. But in the beginning, I think texting is the cheapest and the best way. My success is, majority of it's been always texting. And then as soon as text comes in, you pick up the phone. Hey, what's going on? It seems like you want to sell your house, right? That's for me. But again, people have had successes with mailers. People have had success with almost bandit signs. I don't know. Right? I have so many bandit signs. I have a lot of bandit signs in my house. Maybe I should go put them out. That's probably the problem.
I just ordered my bandit signs.
If you're putting them out, maybe I didn't put out enough maybe. But texting was number one, the cheapest, fastest way, is because it's immediately. I text you, you get the text immediately at the moment I send. Mailers got to be sent out, right? Bandit signs are your like guerrilla marketing kind of, right? You're getting to people, putting them on the side of the highway, whatever you're doing. But texting is immediately to their phone. The next text message, you might get a text from, brother, sister, mom, dad, whatever it is, and then you have that text message up there as well for now. But then again, if you graduate, you go to the next level, you got to look, how do you increase your marketing? And then again, you got to understand your personal market. It might not be texting.
Yeah.
Again, in Atlanta, there's a lot of older people that are hip and they're cool and everyone has an iPhone and everyone's getting like, everyone is on TikTok and they know how to do things. In Mississippi, it might be completely different. Maybe they don't mess with phones. That are like, whoever owns the house are like, I'm kind of like, the text message looks like a scam, right? But if you get a mailer, this looks legit, right? So what Samantha was telling me earlier, she doesn't think the texting is like,
In our area, I think that especially rural Indiana where we are, it definitely would look better. I know I've gotten calls off of my mailers, texting. I actually have not had a ton of responses around here. But that, again, like Ramin said, it's all about the market. And I know that some of our members in like Dallas and other very like, heavily, real estate investing, you have to put in a lot of numbers. They text and cold call because the mailers, those people are getting mailers all the time. And
my dad gets probably, when I go to the house, mailers on top of mailers. And I'm like, he's like, oh, those are scams. So he throws them all in the trash.
I know, my dad does that too.
And the neighbor gets the same thing, and my dad and the neighbor is like around the same age, right? And they always, on whatever time it is, they see it, they see the ones that are important, the other ones, the bin is right there, both of them at the same time throw all these mailers out into the trash. So in Atlanta, maybe outside of the big 4 counties, it might work, but for me personally, the texting has been my best avenue. And then again, if you're in different markets, you want to play around with it. You don't want to go out there and do texting, let's say here in Indiana, right? And no response. If you're not getting any responses, you're not getting anything, maybe change up the game. Try the cold calling, maybe try the cold emailing, right?
Try door knocking. Try.
Or carry something with you if you do that.
Yes, but there's a lot. Where are you located, Tim?
I'm in Washington, D.C. So, this market is pretty tough. And this is a very tough market. And it's a lot of competition. So I've been sending out a lot of mailers. And I have my bandit signs coming from Cheap Signs. So they're on the way. I'm going to start doing that. But I've been doing a lot of mailers, and I've been doing a lot of cold calling. I haven't done a lot of Texas, so what I think I am going to do is start doing the Texas and see what that does. If that doesn't work, then I'm stuck.
No, it's going to work, Tim.
You have to believe.
It's going to work. The numbers are not going to lie. And actually, we have, I don't know, are you part of our Facebook group on the DealMachine Facebook group?
So, and don't laugh at me. So, I'm a little older. I don't have any social media.
Okay.
Yeah.
No judgment whatsoever. I was just gonna say, or reach out to one of us through the customer service, and that we do have some members in our Facebook group that in your area that I know of that would probably love to connect and network.
Work some things out. Sounds absolutely wonderful.
Awesome. Thanks so much for
you guys are great.
Tim, you really made my day by saying all that stuff too, because I did not know about how Driving for Dollars was before DealMachine. DealMachine was all I knew. And then I did do it the way you did it, and I God bless you.
Oh, it was horrible back in the day. I mean, but that was the only thing that you knew, so that's what you had to do. It was
right.
like doing homework and research for high school using an encyclopedia. That's what I used to use, an encyclopedia. Now you can Google everything. Like everything is at your fingertips. So this thing is so innovative and it's so brand new. And I just can't wait to see what comes down the line new, because I mean, if we can do a DealMachine, it has to be something else that's gonna supersede DealMachine, because it's all about growth, right?
Hey, let me tell you what, 2022 has some great things in store for the DealMachine members. I'm not going to give away anything, but I'm just saying.
I know the secrets, though. I know the secrets.
Give us one nugget. Just one nugget.
You use my promo code, and I need to look good. I got to be a winner. Ramin needs to win in every aspect. The first 7 days for Drive for Dollars, first for the list builder, and if I have to bring more business to DealMachine, and then I'll say something. But till then,
No.
I'll say it privately.
I'm gonna use your promo code.
Use my promo code, and the one thing is, everybody is listening. You cannot ask DealMachine to do things for you. Okay, you got to get on the DealMachine app, both the Drive for Dollar and the other one, the List Builder. Yes, I got it. Both of them, right? You sign up for both of them, and you do both, and then you have to do it. If you call DealMachine, if you talk to any of their employees, members, associates, whatever you might call it, they will walk you through like how to use the software, how to do things, right? And they will even tell you like, maybe you should try a different kind of marketing. Maybe if texting didn't work, do cold calling. I mean, in the beginning, that was like kind of profound for me because I'm talking to Jim, and Jim was like, well, you did cold calling. Have you started texting or something? And I was like, you're right. Let me start texting more. Like first, let me take out all these lists and start sending out text messages first thing. So doing both of those things, and you have to put in the work. DealMachine is a software, right? But you as an individual have to put in the work at the end of the day. You can't expect them to, pick up the call and make the cold calling for you, send the text messages out, and come up with different templates or cool, whatever you might do for texting or even cold calling. That's not how it works. You have to put in the work, sign up, put in the work, and $50,000, all right, on the free trial. So I got to win. So everybody needs to sign up with my promo code. I got to bring more money than anybody else has ever brought to DealMachine. I got to win this challenge that I put for myself right now.
Now a new trial here. All right, thank you guys so much for being on here tonight. Ramin, thank you for doing this with us and coming out here and doing our first live webinar with us. Super exciting. Yay!
So it works for me to fly all the way here. Yes.
Yeah, he was like, I'm gonna come for my webinar, and we're like, awesome, okay. So really happy to have you all here. We usually do a demo at the end because we're doing this a little differently. We're not, but we do have demos on the previous webinars as well. So please check out our YouTube channel. But this replay will be up next week. So thank you guys so much for being on here. And as we say at DealMachine, happy deal finding.
Happy deal finding.